Savitri is there now to meet the challenge. In her, in Savitri, the superhuman cast its seed. It is he, the Supreme Himself, who is working in Savitri. Because she has stood up. She is able to meet the challenge of this creation. Because she is prepared to do that thing. She has capacity, power to hold what the superhuman can give. Therefore, the superhuman casts its seed, its elements in this world, inapt to fold its mighty wings of dream. He is not going to fold the dreams like that. Her spirit refused to hug the common soil, or finding our life's golden meanings robbed. Compound, she is not going to compound with her. She is not going to quench with despair the God light. She stood up, Savitri, in spite of all these difficulties, accustomed to the eternal and the true. Accustomed to the eternal and the true. That is the divine nature of Savitri herself. The eternal and the true, who is living also in the human Savitri, the eternal and the true. Satya and Brahma, they are residing in Savitri, and they are there. Ask not from the mortal frailty pains relief. Patch not with failure, bargain, or compromise. A work she had to do, yes, she has come for that purpose. She has taken the mortal birth for a certain purpose. A work she had to do. Now, a word to speak, of course, a work she had to do. It is the work she has been doing since the very beginning of this creation. When she arose from her somnolence, from her sleep, it is from that moment onward her occult spiritual work is going on, and that work continues to do. But now a moment has come when she must do it decisively. A work she had to do, a word to speak, writing the unfinished story of her soul. The first half of Savitri's story is done. Now the finished part of the story of the divine manifestation upon this creation, of the divine possibilities expressing themselves in the mortal world. That is the second half of the story. And Savitri has to write the story. She has to complete the story. The book is now opened out, and she has set herself to do that job, writing the unfinished story of her soul in thoughts and actions graved in nature's book. A force in her that toils since the earth was made. That is a part of the story of Savitri. Since the earth was made, that is the force which is toiling here all the while, accomplishing in life the great world plan, pursuing after death immortal aim, refused to admit frustration's barren role, forfeit the meaning of her birth, and she is not going to accept the failure at all. She is not going to refuse. She is going to refuse the frustration or yield her high destiny up to passing time. She is not going to yield her destiny to chance like that, you see. She is going to mold her destiny. She is going to will her destiny, and she is going to see that the destiny is carried forward. In her own self, she found her high recall. In her own self, that is the important thing. It is not that from somewhere else she is going to help. Within her itself, there are powers, and those powers have to come out and meet the challenge of the situation. Within herself, she found her ego. She matched with the iron law her sovereign right. Iron law, the law of death, Yama, the law of death she has to stay the wheels of doom. This greatness arose. Savitri is now rising up, getting ready to meet doom. The doom which is approaching fast in the forest, the death of Satyavan, the moment of his death. It is for that Savitri is waiting there now, see, to stay the wheels of doom, stop the wheels of doom. The greatness rose. at the unseen's knock upon the hidden gaze, her strength made greater by the lightning's touch, awoke from slumber in her heart. See, the strength was there in her, but there is the unseen's knock. Somebody unseen, he is knocking. Savitri, get up. The moment has come. You have to do your work now. See, awoke from slumber in heart's restraint. It bore the stroke of that which kills and saves. That of the superhuman, his stroke, his blow, she has to bear. The blow of the superhuman, Savitri has to bear. It is that blow of the superhuman which will kill all that is past, all that is coming in the way of your progress, in the way of your spiritual growth. All that will be killed, will be removed, destroyed by the blow of that. And when that is destroyed, then that blow saves you. So that blow kills all that is coming in the way. The blow saves for you to do your future's work. It bore the strength of Savitri. The strength of Savitri says that it can bore both these aspects. Across the awful march, no eye can see, barring dreadful route, no will can change. She faced the engine to the universe. A heart stood in the way of driving wheel. A giant walking spots in front of her mind. A star convention met the flame of a soul. Star convention, the tradition, the laws of nature, Rudy, all that is coming in the way here, they have to be destroyed. The star convention met the flame of a soul. Here is the burning flame now, which will destroy all the tradition, all that comes in the way of the thing. Traditions have no place at all, you see, they must go away. And what is that thing then? A magic leverage. Suddenly it's got a magic leverage. You got the lever now, and you have got that lever in your hand. When that moment comes, that lever is there. What is that magic leverage? It is going to do something miraculous, something most wonderful, that it can link your strength with the transcendent force. The leverage will do such a miracle that your strength itself can be linked up with the strength of the transcendent, can link man's strength to the transcendent force. So that is the power of that magic leverage. Once you have got that leverage in your hand, and if you follow what the leverage is going to do, you accept its working, then your strength can get linked up with the supreme strength. And when the transcendent force is there with you, what is it that you cannot achieve? What is it that will come in the way then? What has been killed has gone away, and this strength is now only going to say you, take you forward, you see. A magic leverage suddenly is caught that move the world ineffable. See, that leverage has the power to move the ineffable's will, the very will of the ineffable, or the inexpressible, anarvachaniya, who cannot be expressed, who cannot be described at all. His will, it is that will which is now caught by this magic leverage. In other words, you are put yourself in direct contact with the will of the Supreme, and when the will of the Supreme is there working with you, then all the things will follow automatically in their course. And what is that leverage? Now he is describing that magic leverage. That magic leverage is a prayer, a master act, a king idea. That is the magic leverage. So once you have got that prayer, master act, king idea in your possession, you have got the leverage in your hand. And with that leverage, then your strength can get linked up with the transcendence force. A prayer, a master act, a king idea. As I have been telling you repeatedly, This line is a very beautiful line, very powerful line. In one single sentence, one single line, a prayer, a master act, a king idea, it brings the entire essence of the Gita's yoga. The Gita's yoga is trapped, is condensed, is quintessenced in this particular line itself. A prayer, see the lines can account to you. A pray, that is A, Ma, second foot, that is Anapist. Master act, third foot, I am. A king, fourth foot. Idea, amphibrach, fifth foot. So these are the 5 feet like that, you see. So in these 5 feet, the entire essence of Gita's yoga is condensed, is presented here. It is not a prayer or a master act or a king idea. It is not jnana or bhakti or karma. It is not that. It is jnana which is also bhakti, which is also karma. Or a bhakti which is also jnana, which is also karma. Or a karma which is also a bhakti or a jnana. All of them are together, they cannot be separated. That I will do now bhakti yoga, now I will do, it is not like that. It is simultaneous. When you are engaged in work, karma, you see the presence of God there, you realize the presence of God there, and your heart opens out, your bhakti opens out. Oh, my Lord is present here, and let me offer my worship to Him. You see, doing work itself, you are doing gardening, or you are doing kitchen work, or you are cooking. In that process itself, what do you see? It is God who is preparing the food for me. See, it is that element which comes out. At the same time, the way in which the food is to be cooked, the way in which the food is to be digested, the way in which the food is to be served, all those things become a part of jnana. I get simultaneously also. It is not that just prepare a certain dish and give it to you. You have to also now put your spiritual force, your psychic force, your inner force into it. Then it really becomes the food for God. So it is simultaneously all the 3. It is jnana, karma, bhakti as a single element. I will call it a triple yoga if you want to call it. But unfortunately, people have been emphasizing only on one aspect or the other of Gita's Karma Yoga. But this line tells you very clearly, very most powerfully, that look, that is the wrong thing. Now, it is that kind of a triple yoga of the Gita, Karma, Jnana, Bhakti, fused into each other, born in one flame. These 3 born in one flame. It is that which can link your strength with the strength of the transcendent. You see, when all that fulfillment is there, then only you acquire a strength which can link up with the strength of God. You see, can link man's strength to the transcendent force. What a powerful description. Now Savitri has arrived at that moment. Savitri has arrived. Yes, tomorrow her husband is going to die, and she has to meet that moment. Now she has to pull her strength from within so that it can meet that particular moment. Her husband is going to die. She is going to do this triple yoga of the Gita so that her strength is linked up with the transcendent force. And when that force, the transcendent force, it is that force which will take care of everything. Then Savitri has nothing to do. Savitri is kind of free. Her work lies only in linking up her strength with the transcendent force. Once that is done, it is the transcendent force which will take care of everything. So, even if Satyavan is going to die tomorrow, Savitri is not concerned with that. It is the concern of that divine Shakti, of the Supreme Shakti herself, Mahashakti. It is she who is going to do whatever has got to be done, you see. Then, when that strength is linked up, then miracle is made a common rule. Everything becomes a common thing, miracle. How things happen without your understanding, without your knowing, as if things start falling into their places and things start getting developed. Then miracle is made a common rule. One mighty deed can change the course of things. See, we never do the Gita Yoga also, you see. If we can do that thing, one mighty deed, one act in that yoga can change the course of things completely. The whole life changes completely. A lonely thought becomes omnipotent. It has the divine Shakti in it now. All now seem nature's master machinery, an endless servitude to material rule. A long determination's rigid chain, her firm and chainless habits aping law, annul the claim of man's free human will. He too is a machine amid machine, he, man. A piston brain pumps out the streams of thought. A beating heart cuts out emotions mold. And insentient energy fabricates the soul, fabricates the soul. That is how our ego self is born. A random series. But wisdom comes and vision grows within. When you do the triple yoga of the Gita, wisdom comes and vision grows within. You start seeing things from within. You start understanding. You are not to be told anything. You don't have to go and read in a book. You don't have to search for answer in this encyclopedia or that encyclopedia. It is there within. That vision grows from within and you get automatically the answers solved. Then nature's instrument crowns himself her king. See, you are the master of nature now. It is not nature who is going to govern you. You become the master, you become the king of nature. He feels his witnessing self and conscious power. He feels his witnessing self and conscious power. He is the power and self. His soul steps back and sees the light supreme. When the vision grows within, then you see the light supreme. Parasya Jyoti, light supreme. Parasya Jyoti. You see the greatest, the brightest, the finest kind of light. A goddess stands behind the brute machine. This truth broken in a triumph of fire. Suddenly, Savitri has realized this truth. If I can link up my strength with the transcendent force, all these things are going to happen. And Savitri has suddenly realized the importance of this truth. This truth broken in a triumph of fire. A victory was won for God in man. A victory was won for God in man. Savitri has already won the victory in the subtle world. In the Smukshma Jagat, Savitri has already won the victory. It has to get translated now on the physical plane, in the material world. A victory was won for God. She has already won the victory. The deity revealed his hidden face. The great world mother now in her arose. It is the divine mother herself now who is coming out of human Savitri. Savitri is there, the incarnate force is there, but she is no more the human Savitri. It is the divine mother herself now who is projecting herself through Savitri. The great world mother now in her arose. This is exactly what we have got in book 10, you see. Her great world mother now arose. A living choice reverse faced cold death. There was an alternative whether she should give up considering everything as vain or hew the ways of immortality. That was the moment of choice. But that moment of choice is decided the moment Savitri has now in her possession the magic leverage. Once Savitri has that possession, in her possession, the magic leverage, the transcendent force is working in Savitri. The divine mother, the world mother is now going to work in Savitri. Savitri's leverage has succeeded in achieving that thing. She has used the magic leverage successfully. And now the Divine Mother is operating in her. The great Mother now in her arose a living choice rivers. You see, that was a choice, that issue was there, but that issue is now dissolved. She has to only cut the ways of immortality in his mortal creation. Affirm the spirit's trade on circumstance. Press back the senses' dire revolving wheel. This Kala Chakra has been stopped. It has no business now to move on. Kala Chakra has been stopped. Everything is now under the control of Savitri because the world mother is there now with her. Savitri has in possession the magic leverage. She has used it successfully. She has linked up her strength with the transcendent force, and the job is done. Press back the senses' dire evolving will. A flaming warrior from the eternal peak, a flaming warrior from the eternal. Savitri is there, a flaming warrior. But at the same time, in that flaming warrior, it is the Divine Mother who is working here. From the eternal peace, she has come here, and it is that Divine Mother who is a flaming warrior from the eternal peace, empowered to force the door denied and closed, smote from death's visage, a dumb absolute. So she removed away the veil which death had put on. God of death, who had assumed the cruel face in his creation, that harsh cruelty of God of death, it is that which has been removed. And what you see there, you don't see here the cruel God. God of death is a cruel person. You see somebody who is beautiful, who is genuine, who is authentic, who is gracious, who is powerful, and it is to him now you are doing whatever we do. In other words, Savitri has revealed the one who truly is behind this God of death. The Divine himself had taken that position, had assumed that face, and Savitri has now revealed, look, it is not Yama now, it is Super Yama. It is the Divine himself who is in front of you. Smoke from death's visage is down absolute and burst the bounds of consciousness and time. The doors are opened out now. The floods of the eternal and the limitless are going to flow here of eternal, the true consciousness and time, awareness, Jagrata, and burst the bounds of consciousness and time. Well, this is the brief account of the second canto. We have hurried quickly through, but I think we'll leave it as it is now, see.